Just to introduce myself, so I'm Paul Thornton, so I'm the Talent Acquisition Director for Kia. So that's Kia, the construction company, not the car company. And today we're going to be talking about refugees. And I'm also joined on stage by Anna as well.
Hi, so my name's Anna. I'm the CEO and co-founder at RefuAid. And we've been working with Kia and a host of other businesses for about 18 months now.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Okay, so quick agenda. 3 parts really to this. So I'm going to cover off the first 2 agenda points, and in a moment I'm going to share a video as well. And then I'm going to hand over to Anna to talk about RefuAid, and then I think we're going to move to the Q&A session as well. So I'm going to share the video in a moment, but I'm conscious that we're probably going to still have a few people coming in, so I don't want to start the video just yet. So just as a quick bit of background, so probably about this time last year, I think it was, Kia set up a refugee employability program, working very closely and in partnership with RefuAid. And the program has been an absolutely fantastic success. We want to keep doing more and more and more. And we wanted to come along today to just talk a bit about that. So we're going to start off by just talking about some of the positive impacts and the benefits of employing refugees. I don't know if anybody in the audience already does this. Rather than me sitting here or standing here telling you about it, I'm going to introduce you to Mohsen on a video. So Mohsen has been working for Kia for about, I think, 6 to 8 months now. He's working for us on one of our projects down on the south coast. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. And he's just going to tell us a bit about his story. So.
My name is Mohsen, and my full name is Mohsen Sayyahi, and I'm Iranian refugee here in the UK, working for Kia as a section engineer. I started as an engineer when I was maybe 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, not as a full educated engineer, as a trainee. It was the metro station, the first project that I had. After that, I attended a lot of projects like railway stations, like building constructions. And this is the field that I had activities during my life. I don't know anything else apart from engineering. The reason why I moved to the UK is basically for my safety and my family's safety. RefuAid, they were very helpful organization, because at the beginning I came here, I didn't have this opportunity to join the university. I didn't have this opportunity to join the job because of language barriers, because of different standards, different methods. You feel very disappointed. You feel really frustrated when you start a job which is not really relevant to your qualifications and your skills. I started as a taxi driver in college, Manchester College. My phone started ringing and I just answered. It was one person from RefuAid. I said that, do you want to join us for mentoring supports from RefuAid? And I say, yeah, why not? What's that? They say it's about mentoring you through the system to develop your CV and help you to find your job, your related job. Care family. I say family because I feel that I'm in my family now. Yeah, Care Family is a good cooperator and colleague of RefuAid. They are working not just to show that we are working with some charities as a kind of show. They are working together as colleagues, and I see that. One of your colleagues from recruitment team called me. We had some chats, and after that I had one interview with our director manager in this project, and straight away they accepted my application and I was successful. For that I am really happy that I'm part of this family now.
hopefully that gave you a really good understanding and an idea of the importance of a programme like this. And with Mosen, I think there's two really, really key parts to this. Firstly, I think there's the personal benefit that you see. So for Mosen, actually since recording this, he's just become a father again, which is amazing. But he's obviously got that financial stability for his family. And I think the other thing is that this isn't just about a job for Mosen, and it's not even just about a career for Mosen. This is about something that's very, very meaningful. It's a job, as you've seen. He is an engineer. He's got a lot of experience as an engineer. And actually, we've been fortunate enough to find him a role that is working really, really well for him as well. So absolutely important that it's something meaningful. The other thing that's worth saying is the business benefit as well. So obviously, as I'm sure you're all aware, it's a very tough market and challenging market out there. We are filling some of our really important jobs with individuals like Mosen. So just quickly, setting up a programme, and then I'm going to hand over to Anna. So firstly, some tips and advice of what we've experienced and what we've gone through. If you're thinking about this, firstly, get buy-in. Get buy-in from your senior leaders. Make sure that you are really selling it. Show not only the personal benefits, but the commercial benefits to a programme like this. It's really, really important. Secondly, choose a partner. We chose RefuAid, and the partnership has been absolutely fantastic. So definitely don't try and just do this yourself. Choose a partner, someone that is there for support and is able to support refugees as well. Be inclusive in your approach. We've talked a lot about that today. Applications, the interview process. Some individuals might need a bit of extra support here and there. So make sure you are being as inclusive as possible. Support. This is absolutely key. In Mosen's situation, he's actually not living with his family. His family are actually living up north. He's based down south at this project, so he needs a bit of additional support. Make sure that managers, the hiring managers, whoever it's going to be, make sure that they are on board, they understand perhaps some additional support measures that might be need to put in place. And then lastly, showcase. So this video that you've just seen today, this was only approved yesterday. So you are actually the first people to see this video. We haven't even shared this internally yet. So part of the idea of this video is we are going to use this across the Kia group to try and influence and get other managers on board so that they will think about some of the vacancies and the roles that they've got and how we might be able to work with RefuAid and bring in some more refugees as well. So showcasing it across your company, all of the benefits of a scheme like this is really important. So I'm going to hand over to Anna.
Hi everyone. So I don't have any slides, I'm just going to talk. So RefuAid started in early 2016, and we started as a result of a volunteer trip in Greece. But we met people there who were arriving in Europe seeking sanctuary, and some of those people that we met in Lesbos ended up being in the UK. And the first handful of people, myself and my co-founder, said, what is it that we could do to help you? Resoundingly, and it stays to this day, even though we have a client base of over 7,000, people wanted to get back to either education and or employment. It was probably the most important thing after making sure they were with their families safely. And so we said, well, what can we do to help you, and what is preventing you from kind of doing that, going back to university or getting back into work? The number one barrier was English language and the quality and the provision of English language tuition. So we work with now a network of over 130 private English language schools and universities who provide full-time English language tuition up to a qualification stage. So the first question employers ask us is, how do we know people will be able to speak English? We do that, and we support clients all the way through to that qualification boardroom level of fluency and beyond, actually. The second way we support people is in terms of returning to their careers. So in order to go to university in the UK, refugees do have access to student finance. Once they've got that language qualification, many people will then go off to university. Many others who are looking to return to their careers will need to sit reaccreditation exams. So whatever sector it may be, in healthcare, in law, in teaching, in sciences, in some cases in engineering, you will need to sit a qualification that says, yes, your credentials from your home country match the UK equivalent. It's ludicrously expensive. It costs a lorry driver £6,000. It costs a doctor an average of £5,500. It costs a lawyer over 10. So, and as a displaced person in the UK, you don't have access to mainstream credit. So many people will have exhausted their financial means and won't have, their national currency may be very depleted, meaning they don't have access to any financial means. So we actually have a loans program. We lend money to people to cover that cost of reaccreditation. And very naively, up until 2020, we thought, well, once people are fluent in English and they've reaccredited, then employers will be snapping up talent that's coming with such amazing attributes of resilience and grit and determination. And sadly, we found that wasn't the case. Even though 46% of those that we support are healthcare professionals, and the remaining others that we support very often are across shortage sectors in the UK. So on the first day of lockdown, we started a program, obviously not envisaging the next few years ahead, but to look at that employment piece, what was going wrong. Why, when people had worked so hard to gain fluency in English language, reaccredit their qualifications, were people not getting into work? And to do that, we started working with employers. So the first one, and probably the worst start to working with an employer, was the NHS. So if anyone works in the NHS, it's obviously one of the hardest employers to work with, but we worked with them and we learned a lot to place people once they were qualified into their first full-time role. It's very, very, very important for us at RefuAid that people go into the role that they were previously qualified in or what their ambition is. So often we meet businesses who say, oh, we'll offer you 5,000 jobs as a barista, naming no names, but why aren't you offering us roles in your financial departments or your HR teams or your tech teams? And to be honest, most businesses they do listen to us when we say that and come back. So it's just something that's very, very, very important to us, is that it's a role commensurate with someone's skills and experience. It's not just a token role. Any job isn't necessarily a good job just because somebody's had a really tough time and been dealt a really hard hand in life. After the invasion of Ukraine, we were inundated with businesses throughout the UK saying, what could we do to help? So prior to Homes for Ukraine being announced, we were actually looking at skilled workers visas and how we could use that to get people out safely. But we were overwhelmed with how many businesses were saying, what is it that we can do and can we offer jobs to help and support people? So we're now working with over 110 businesses, people who came to us and said, we understand that employment is part of the solution. Sadly, there are 100 million people displaced around the world, and a huge, huge part of solving that and providing support to people is making sure people have mobility and can access job opportunities when they arrive in a new country. But it's not without challenges. So we have learned over the last 18 months what works, what doesn't work, that not all businesses are interested in this, sadly, that some are incredibly engaged and that's where impact is made, but that it is about the whole culture of a business, that you do need senior buy-in. Yes, that's so important, but you also need people at those entry points of recruitment, the people receiving applications to understand what clients are facing. One of the main barriers for our clients when they're going to that hiring stage is that it takes years to flee your country, in many cases years, to flee your country and rebuild your life somewhere. I've met people who've, fled Sudan and come to the UK and it's taken them 5 or 6 years. They've got stuck in camps along the way. They've lost family members along the way, whatever might have happened. And it means that all too often that recruiter, that person that we're talking to, just sees a gap on their CV, not the skills and the resilience and the determination that's been built up on what is an absolutely horrific journey. And so we work with businesses to run employability days, to work on direct hires, and to kind of take people on that journey to become more inclusive and to hire talent. And it's not just a good thing to do. It's, as we heard earlier from the lady from BT, it's a commercially viable, beneficial program to run. People come with amazing attributes, but also experiences in life that are unparalleled. I think we were talking earlier, we have a doctor that we were supporting who's having an extremely hard time with getting back to work in the UK and is facing a huge number of mental challenges because of it. And recently I spoke to him and he told me a story when he was working and there's a Taliban insurgency in his area and he was forced to operate on a Taliban soldier with another Taliban soldier holding an AK-47 to his head and telling him, if he dies, you die. The fact that people can't understand that that's not going to translate onto a CV, but is an example of absolutely incredible ability to work under pressure is baffling to us, but is something we're trying to fix. So yeah, that's us. I think we've covered everything. But please do ask questions.